Hello, writers. Today we get the chance to know Sarah and Rew Jones a little bit better. They are the excellent wife husband duo and authors of Evelina's Egg. A background in filmmaking is what prompted their book publishing adventure, and their kids are in on it with them. Stay tuned and get to know this power couple. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Writer's Way podcast. I'm here with the husband-wife duo, Sarah and Rew Jones, the authors of Evelina's Egg. Thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
We just had a little moment when I realized they're actually from fairly close to me here in Canada as I drink my Tim Hortons coffee that my husband brought me today. Usually I end up talking to people much farther away, so I think it's really cool to talk to other Canadians that are equally as cold as I am.
Yes, it is very unfortunate right now.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's hard. My husband's like, why are you complaining? You just hide in the house. And it's true. I do. So you guys have, you're just my superheroes. You have a lot of kids and you do a lot of things. So I just want to hand it over to you. And if you could introduce yourselves and tell everybody else what you do.
Sure. My name is Sarah, and we have 5 kids together. And so I'm mostly stay-at-home mom, but I like to help Andrew with his film business. And then we've just kind of started into the world of trying to write children's books as well. So.
Cool.
Yeah, we've loved doing like family film projects and stuff, and Sarah's been writing ideas for kids' books for a long time. And then so we just kind of started like actively pursuing it this year, and our first picture book came out in November, and so far people seem to like it.
Cool. Well, congratulations. Do you have it there? Are you reaching for
Yeah,
it?
brought one, two. This is it, Evelina's Egg. And so we decided to go ahead and try to self-publish it, and it's been kind of a whirlwind adventure, but really fun and kind of addictive, actually.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And then especially when you have kids around, I find like you get so many ideas just day to day. I follow mine around like this. Yeah, just keep playing. Mommy's not being weird.
Exactly.
So can you tell me about your movie background, Rew, or what the...
Yeah, so we so I started off actually, well, Sarah and I wrote a family theater program for about 7 seasons, and that was really fun. And we had kind of both did theater in college and high school and stuff. And then so as that was kind of winding down, I was actually working in the music industry as well, just managing artists and stuff, and we needed to supplement that a bit. So Sarah said, well, you've done lots of film work with the theater. Why don't we start doing that? So I started directing more and more. And then, we kind of really started into the family content with a short film called Finding Fairies, which is about a little girl who finds a magic tooth fairy she has a loose tooth that goes under the pillow, and then she sees a little bunny leaving her room. And so she follows the bunny, and that goes into like a magic forest, which is where the tooth fairy lives. And then, so we started doing that. And then we've written 2 other TV pilots for family shows that are in kind of various stages of work. And so that's kind of like our full-time paying the bills job right now is filmmaking, and we do a lot of documentary work and stuff too. And then, increasingly trying to focus on publishing some kids' books as well as more film projects too. So.
Wow. Okay. First, where can people find that Finding Fairies movie?
Just on YouTube, actually, or in a bunch of countries, it's on Amazon Prime too, but it's available for everyone on YouTube. If you just type, our production company is Checkered Owl. So if you type Finding Fairies, Checkered Owl, it will come up. Or if you just type Finding Fairies, it's usually fairly near the top too.
So it's so funny because you guys look like normal people, and then you talk about filmmaking, and it's on Amazon Prime, and I feel like people will be watching this and you're their dream, right? Like you're the what? They have a film and family friendly films. So I think about, the YouTubers that my kids love, my younger, yes, I'm embarrassed to admit that they do, but they do. Instead of TV shows, they watch like this family on YouTube that does all these fun things and makes our family like very not fun. But that's what I think of when I think of what you talk. So I know it's not specifically about books, but could you share a little bit of sort of about that part of your life? Like, is it glamorous and fabulous and exciting? And how do you get a film on Amazon Prime?
So it's really fun. I don't know if it's glamorous most days, but it's really fun. It's
no 2 days are alike for us, so we're not like, very, and our personalities are not super duper rigid scheduled anyway. And I think you have to be pretty fluid to be able to do, 5 kids and then try to do business as well. And you just kind of go to the next most urgent thing. and then at the end of the day, you're kind of exhausted and hope that you got some things done and had fun along the way. And we're very fortunate that we're able to involve more and more of the kids. That film Finding Fairies, those are all our kids that are in it.
Oh, okay.
We did.
Yeah.
And then Leela our oldest, loves to help Andrew on the set in all kinds of capacities.
Yeah, so she'll come out on set as like a production assistant when I'm shooting a music video and stuff. And that's really fun experience for him, or for her rather. And then and then they, of course, like all kids, they, then they go home and they make all their little iMovies and blah, blah, blah. But then they really enjoy it. So it's fun, and it's fun because we can do it together. Sarah does a lot of our writing and helps with some editing and stuff. And I do most of the directing and producing. And it's fun because we can juggle these things all together, kind of as a couple and as a family with our kids whenever possible. And so it's busy and crazy, but it's a load of fun. And then just getting it on Amazon was just, we had produced it, and they have a program called Amazon Video Direct, and we kind of worked through them, and it's been really good. It actually, that one took off in the UK kind of randomly for a little while, and so it's kind of a fun adventure that way.
Is it a little bit like putting a book out there on Amazon, but it's a movie, and so?
Yeah, basically, actually, Amazon Video Direct would be pretty similar to like, putting a book on Amazon.
I love it. And you guys seem happy. Like when I think about working with my husband in a partnership, he's like, no. That's great. You're the first people I've talked to that do it, with their spouse. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're fried a lot of the time, but I don't know. It's kind of nice because you get done one crazy project and then you get to focus on a whole new thing, and I think that just keeps us motivated and excited. And,
right. You always have that passion for whatever you're doing, and then you get to move on and have new regenerated passion. Yeah. So your book came out in November. Has there been anything since it's come out that you didn't expect or that was a little bit surprising?
That's a good question.
Well, actually, one thing I would say is our community, our town, the support here has been actually a lot better, more than I might have anticipated. We go into little local stores kind of trepidatious, like, would you be willing? And they're pretty much across the board. Of course, yeah, you bet. And so we've got, a lot of local vendors selling the book here, which is just, as school libraries, we're kind of in the midst of getting into those and stuff. So in that sense, it's just been very encouraging because it feels like they take our project seriously. And, we still have that artist sense of like, oh, it's just my little silly, whatever. But then you show it to other people and they're like, wow. And they, they get excited, and it kind of, again, re-energizes us to keep going and to think maybe we do know what we're doing a little bit. But, you always carry that feeling of self-doubt, I think. So.
It's so true, but I'm so happy to hear that you've had such positive feedback from the community, because that's not everybody's story always. It's us Canadians, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's nice here. Did any part of the publishing process surprise you along the way?
I would say we published through KDP, and for some reason I've done quite a bit of graphic design work and stuff, just working in music and film and doing posters and different things. But for some reason, like just the way they structure when they tell you about the margins and stuff in the process took me just like, it took us longer than we thought, I guess. It was
it was like that finish line was very long of just getting it, complete.
Getting the book layout and the proper dimensions.
Yeah, just like it was like, for some reason we found the margins after we had submitted, and then something weird happened, which wouldn't be most people's story, I'm sure, but just like some file in the back end of their system corrupted, so then we had to restart it a couple times, and it was just kind of like, not like big deals, but just those things where you're like, we're done. Okay, no, we're done. Oh, no, wait, we got so it was just like, it felt really good once it was
It's finally done. That's actually something really good to point out, is that whole margins and bleed, and knowing right from the beginning what your dimensions are supposed to be. And so maybe, with this interview, I'll post a link to that page, because you're right, it can be tricky. They do have it on there, but they also have a lot of other stuff. So it can cause people stress for sure.
Yeah.
And illustrators and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, because we have kids similar age. How do your kids feel about all of this? Like, are you superstars to them, or is it all just every day? And was the book something, like, oh, you're an author now? Was that more exciting than movies for them, or?
I'd say yes, because we've been doing the film work since most of them were tiny, that it's, us going out to shoot is kind of par for the course for them, I guess.
Right.
But the book was, I'd say, like when we were writing it, when we were doing it on the computer, they didn't think much of it. But when there was like a physical book that in the little dedication spot we put their names and all of those things, then that felt like, I think that felt kind of legitimate.
Library, getting it into the library.
Oh yeah, getting into the library, the public library was a big deal for the kids.
Okay. No, you're real. You're real.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, there's a funny story from when our daughter was at school a few years ago, and she would tell her classmates, what her dad does, and they wouldn't believe her. And one boy in particular, I think he was an aspiring actor himself, and he always like, oh, you're exaggerating. Your dad, what did he used to say? Your dad only, do you remember?
There's one kid who was like, oh no, I think you mean like your dad makes PowerPoint presentations.
That's right. I was like, no,
like my dad.
Filming a pilot. And he's like, nah, honey, no. And it was just kind of an interesting thing, because I think, we do actually are reminded that our life is kind of different, I guess, and than a lot of kids experience, and it doesn't necessarily it seemed believable maybe sometimes to the other kids that this is genuinely what her dad does. And
this book was exciting though too, because actually, like, we did all of the illustrations, we did photographs, and we did so actually our 12-year-old daughter made the little felt yeah, you can see, where's a good picture? So it's full of little felt mice. And she actually made all of those. So it's really exciting for her when I'm like, oh, look, a book sold in California today. And it's some of her artwork, or at least she played a role in kind of putting together that artwork and stuff. So that's really exciting too. And for the kids. And a couple of local people have asked them to sign the book and stuff. So that's very exciting.
Oh, that would be cool. I love that. I think that's so cool that you're involving all of them, and it's such a different way to do the illustrations, but they're gorgeous. You've done a great job. Okay, so do you have any advice to give to somebody maybe in your position, a year ago, somebody thinking about doing a book? What would you say to them?
I think, the biggest thing is just that for us, and partially due to our life and having a bunch of kids, is you really have to force yourself to set aside time. If you just think, oh, I'll kind of do it here and there, it's really hard to get anything that you're satisfied with. It kind of takes one or both of us, taking a weekend away, or going to a coffee shop for a whole afternoon, or something like that, to really make the progress you want to make. sometimes, because at home there's just like, people needing snacks and laundry needing to be done, and people who pinched each other because they were trying to get the same Lego piece and all of that. And
no idea what you're talking about.
Just in our house, there's these comments.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You have to remove yourself from all the distractions.
Yeah, and we've just found for us, like, for one or both of us to disappear for a while where there's nothing else going on is important. Like when we've had to finish scripts and stuff, and it'll be the same with there's a book project coming up that we're working on that'll be a little longer, and we're just like, we just need to like take a weekend, drive to a different city, get an Airbnb, and work on this thing, because it's just
I guess that's sort of the pros and cons for you, because you're both in it together. So on the one hand, you can support each other and do that, but on the other hand, if you're both needed, grandma, what happens? Yeah. Well, it's been great getting to know you guys. Are you on social media and stuff under Checkered Owl, or are you under your names?
Yeah, so we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and our website and YouTube, all under Checkered Owl. And then also, though, we have a Facebook page that's just Sarah Rew Jones, like facebook.com/Sarah Rew Jones. Also an Instagram with that same thing that we're just getting started, our author stuff on there. So I think it has like 10 posts or whatever, but we're building it up. And then we're just about to get our new Sarah and Rew dedicated website. We're just finishing some of the layout and stuff, building that. So
that's kind of more our family content emphasized stuff. Like the Checkered Owl kind of has the whole umbrella, but then we're trying to sort of specialize that part for people who are interested in our family content.
Yeah, so if people are super into kids books, they might like our documentary about grain elevators we did through Checkered Owl, but it might not be what they're there for exactly.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, that makes sense, and I think that's smart for you to separate the two. And I feel like that family entertainment stuff has really like had a huge growth spurt, and it's just going to keep going. Like the whole advent of YouTube and all that. Like that's what kids are enjoying watching. So and reading, of course, all that with the picture books. Well, thank you so much for being on with us, and I'm excited to share this with the world. And it's been great getting to know fellow Canadians.
Thank you so much for having us. We've really been, like I said to you in an email, we've been digging into the podcast and like getting our heads around. There's some marketing things are similar to some of the internet marketing stuff we've done before, but then some that are really different. So it's been great to have your podcast as a inspiration source to steal ideas, and helped remind us that we needed to get going and start our Instagram. So. And the website for blogs and content, and so really
yeah. Well, I'm glad it's helpful. I appreciate hearing that, because I don't always know what people think, right? So I do really appreciate when people tell me that. So I'm glad. Yay!
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Stay warm.
You've been listening to the Writer's Way podcast. For show notes, links to guests' information, and to learn more about the Writer's Way, check out lauriewriter.com. Until next week, enjoy this chapter of your life.